Hello, welcome back. Blah. Okay, so this is gonna be my top 10 books of 2023 that I read, with 5 honorable mentions. Just because there's like 5 books that I really like, they just didn't quite make it, and so I just wanted to mention them anyway. And yeah, okay. First honorable mention is Kill River by Cameron Robicheaux, whatever. And this is basically about a girl, like an antisocial girl who's really into music. It takes place in 80s, 83. So she's like super antisocial, super into music. She's always listening to her Walkman, her favorites are the Go-Go's. I remember that because right at the start of this book, or at the start or at the end? It's at the end. There's a list of songs that are like prevalent. And not like prevalent, sometimes they're mentioned and sometimes they're not. But the list of songs to like listen to, like to get in the mood for the book. And yeah, so I made a playlist with the songs and add some of the songs to my playlist because they're good. And so yeah, she loves music, loves the Go-Go's. It's the 80s, and her parents are like, you need to stop being a boring little bitch and need to get out there and make friends. So they send her to summer camp, and she meets a girl and 2 boys, and kind of they're the older kids in the camp, so she kind of joins up with them. And then, yeah, I think that's all I want to say. But yes, it's called Kill River, so obviously it's a horror. It's like a slasher, like not really like super scary or anything, but it's like slasher, so like obviously like some deaths and stuff. And yeah, I just thought it was really fun. I loved the main girl, and especially the main girl and her the friend she meets at the camp, Stacy. So the main girl's name's Cindy, and then she meets Stacy at the summer camp. And I love their little like relationship because, yeah, I don't know, I love female friendships. And like all my friends are girls, and I love them together. I love their dynamic. And really just I didn't really care about the 2 guys, but I like the 2 girls, and yeah, it was just fun. It was easy. It was quick. It was a good summer read. I read it in like August, and there's 2, it's 3, there's 3 of them. So I have the other 2, like, over there, up there, by Kylie. And, yeah, I just really enjoyed that. That was fun. The next one is Pearl by Josh Malerman, which, Jack, Icelandic tradition, mom. So we started doing this thing last year, me and my mom, where we would each give each other a book. And so she gave me this book this year, and then, she gave me this book last year, and I gave her, Mosquito Land, which is one of my favorite books, but she didn't read it. So, and then this year she gave me A Taste of Golden Iron, which I'm currently reading, and I just don't like to read with these things on. And yeah, it's fine. I don't know. I don't really care about fantasy books, but I'm gonna do it. Okay. So Pearl by Josh Malerman is basically about this pig, this weirdo pig. Like, he gives off major weird vibes. And everyone who's ever interacted with the pig is like, he's weird. We don't like Pearl. He's a weird pig. He looks weird. Like, you know, we don't like him. And he's like the only pig to have never been slaughtered at this like farm or whatever. So there's like their major weird vibes, and like, oh, is he supernatural or is he just weird looking, you know? And yeah, and it gets very bloody, very gory, and it's very fun. I don't know, I really liked it. My next one is Memorial by Brian Washington, which is about a gay couple. One's black and one's Japanese. Yeah, Benson's black and Mike is Japanese. Yeah, and so Mike's mom comes into town, and then he gets called up by his father, and is like, yo, I'm dying, pull through. And so he goes to visit his dad, drops everything, leaves his mom with his partner Benson, and it's about Benson's journey with his partner's mom, and Mike's journey seeing his estranged father for seemingly the last time. And it was very, I don't know, it was very emotional, very sad, but not like, it wasn't too hard to read. It was very, I don't know how to explain it. It was very like bittersweet and just kind of real. It wasn't like overly sad, but it was still sad, you know, because obviously dying parent, whatever. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I like the writing and stuff, but I mean, the writing for books is never a big thing for me. I don't really care. My next honorable mention is Monstrilio by Gerardo. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that. And it's basically about, there's 4 parts, and each part is a different person's perspective. So there's the mom and dad, their son, and then one of the mom's friends, who all get a perspective in here. And the mom and dad have I forget how old he is. He's a young kid who has been sick his whole life. He was only born with 1 lung. And then he passes away very young. And so in her grief, the mom cuts open the son and takes a piece of his lung as a memento. And then that lung transforms into Monstrilio. And it's a very interesting book. It's very gay too. I did not expect that. And yeah, it's very different but very good. This is such a bad, I don't know how to explain Monstrilio. It's just, you just gotta read it. I don't know. Some people might hate it, but I don't know. I liked it. I like a good monster movie, and it was just I've never read anything quite like this, and I don't think I ever will again. Not because I hate it. I never want to read anything like it, but I just don't know if anything will come around that's quite like this. But yeah, I really liked it. I enjoyed it. My next and last honorable mention is Glitterland by Alexis Hall. And it's about this kind of introverted bookie writer guy, Ash, who by chance meets Darian, who is an Essex-born model thing. And if you know the Essex peoples, they're interesting. And they by chance encounter, and then their relationship blossoms. And I really enjoyed it. I liked Darian's Essex accent written out. It was interesting and funny at times, especially because this book is full of spicy and smutty scenes, and just to have the excess accent written out during those was just interesting. And yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I don't know, I read it extremely fast and I just ate it up, Okay, now for number 10 is Secret Santa by Andrew Schaefer, which is about a girl named Lucy. I think that's how you spell, or that's how you pronounce her name, because it's spelled Lussi, but I think you're just to say Lucy. And she recently got laid off from her job, so she's looking for a new job at a publishing firm. Is that what you call them? I don't know. They publish books, so she went there, and then she's like, yo, hire me. And then the guy that was there passes, the boss that she's interviewing with has a heart attack and dies. And then she weasels her way into the company, and it's about her journey with the company and the present she gets at Secret Santa. And that's all I will say. And I read this book on Christmas Day, and I fucking ate it up. I was so, I don't even know how to explain why I got so sucked into this and just, blocked out the rest of the world, and I was just reading it. I don't know, maybe it might have just been, it was Secret Santa, it was on Christmas Day, and I just, was in, But I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It was a good Christmassy book. Number 9 is a novella called Tastes Like Christmas by K.L. Hers, whatever. This book is basically about these 3 robbers who just robbed a jewelry store or something, and then they drive into this town that is a Christmas town, and their society is based on tropes from movies and stuff, like love at first sight, the gentle giant, all those tropes in movies, taking off the glasses and then they're suddenly beautiful, And so they get to that town, and then they start interacting with the people in the town, and all of them are listing off tropes of oh, you can be this trope, or are you this trope? And it was just really fun. And yeah, I just thought it was really cute. It was really quick, easy read, obviously, novella. And yeah, I loved it. Number 8 is In Every Morning, The Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Backman. And this one I think I found from Kayla as well, Books and Lala. And this is about a old man who has dementia, and about how he goes and picks up his son, or his grandson, and the way home gets longer and longer because because of dementia and stuff. And my grandma had dementia, and she lived with us for 2 years with dementia, and me and my mom were like the caretakers of her, and that was extremely difficult, and I related to this book, and it was just a very good read. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It was good. Okay. Number 7 is Under a War-Torn Sky by L.M. Eliot, which this is like a war book, and I read this book originally in, it must have been 7th grade, and I was obsessed with it. I absolutely loved it. When I first read this book, we were split up into like, our class was like 30, and it was like groups of 4, or no, like 4 groups of the 30, and however many kids, because I don't think the teacher could get all of one book. And so in my group, we were in Under War-Torn Sky, and every like night or every week or whatever, we would read a certain number of chapters or pages, and the next day we'd come in and discuss it. And yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I think it might be nostalgia. That is why I really, really like this book. But let me tell you what it's about. Basically, there's a bomber pilot guy who gets shot down in Germany, and he has to try to make his way to like Switzerland, I don't know, wherever the neutral bitches were that wouldn't pick a side, and he has to try to make his way there and get home, and about his journey and the people he meets along the way. And it was very moving, very touching. I teared up at the end because yeah, I just really enjoyed it and really loved it. Number 6 is The Woman in Me, which I'm gonna put the picture somewhere. I assume everyone and their moms knows what that book is. It's Britney Spears' memoir. And right now I'm lending my copy out to a coworker, and I absolutely adored this book. It was obviously it was great to learn the insides of like what was going on in Britney's life, but it didn't really hit me that hard. Well, it did hit me hard, but I wasn't, when like most of the stuff going down with the shaving head and stuff, it was around like 2003, 4, 5, whatever, and I was like 3, 4, or 5. I was born in 2000, so I wasn't a part of the pulp culture scene when all that shit was going down. So I didn't really have an outsider's perspective on any of that. All I knew of Britney Spears like growing up is, well, I knew her songs and liked her songs. Obsessed with Toxic when I was a kid because my parents had it on, like, yeah, that's what I call music, whatever. And Toxic was on there, and I loved that song. And all I knew about Britney Spears is that she was crazy and she shaved her head, because that's just what, by the time I was like watching pulp culture and getting that's all I knew about her. And yeah, and just like reading that book, it was just really sad. And free Britney, so happy she's free, obviously. And you know, let that girl dance with knives if she wants to. Okay, leave her alone. Number 5 is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. And I mean, we went through a Hunger Games Renaissance this year. Everyone and their moms was reading it and doing video essays on it, and I fucking ate it up. I'm so excited. I absolutely adored the movie, and the book was also good. I think better, obviously, because whatever. So this book is about, it's the origin story. It's like origin story of President Snow and how he became who he is and blah blah blah. And what I really appreciate about it is that not once really did I empathize with President Snow, because that man is fucking deranged, which I think the movie failed to really convey, which because you don't get his inner monologue in the movie, but his inner monologue, he's a fucking weirdo. Hate him. I am a big anti Snow and Lucy Gray, like the fucking weirdos on Twitter that are like, oh, well, he just wanted to communicate with her. Well, I know some of it's jokes, but people that actually think they were meant to be together, like, ugh. Like, I can't. No. Snow doesn't deserve to be with anyone. No. They were not meant to be together. Snow literally tried to fucking murder her. I don't care. Like, if that's a spoiler for you, sorry. yeah, you should have read this by now or watched the movie, and no, they were not meant to be together. I do not think he ever truly loved her. I think he liked, I think he liked her. He was fascinated with her, but he saw her as a possession. And yeah, and another hot take I have is I absolutely, well, that's so strong to say. I absolutely hated. I did not enjoy Sejanus as a character. I understand that he was like the moral code of the book, and you know, like he was supposed to represent us in the story, kind of. But that man was so fucking stupid. Oh my god, like literally everything that happens to him is because he was fucking messy and he just did shit. Like he never fucking thought for a second in his life. Like even though I hate Snow, when Snow was like, well, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna do this. Why don't you like try to survive this so you can actually put in the work and help these people? And he never put in the work to actually stick around and try to help people. Like he was so impulsive, he was so fucking stupid, and he was so messy, and he got so many people caught up in his plan. And like he was such an irritating character to me. Like he did not deserve what happened to him. You know, R.I.P. Love you, Sejanus. But like he just never thought anything through. Like he could have been a Cinna for these people, because in my opinion, Tigress, we know she was a person in the games, and that's the person that I like thought was a better moral compass and moral character in the book, because she stuck around. She became a like costumer or whatever Senna was in the movies for the tributes, and that's the way you can actually help these kids in the games, not just like running around complaining and trying to run away to 13. Like who's that helping? Literally no one. Like that's just selfish. Like no, I'm sorry. And all this people love Janus, I just can't. I can't get on board. I don't care. Sorry. Whatever. Love this book. I thought it was brilliant. Suzanne Collins is the Einstein of our time, and people need to start giving her the respect she deserves. Number 4 is The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones, which my mom got me for my birthday in 2020. Happy 20th birthday. Found this from Spooky Astronauts. Love Mom and Dad. Spooky Astronauts, it's a horror girly. I'm big in horror movies, and I guess my mom like messaged her. She posted something about that, and that's why my mom got it for me. And basically, this is like, it's kind of like a light fantasy, which I think is the only fantasy I can enjoy. I don't like the hard fantasies. Like right now I'm reading The Taste of Gold and Iron, and I'm having a little bit of trouble getting into the story. There's just so many new words and so many like intricacies of that world that I'm having trouble grasping on, and it's just a lot gets thrown at you at once. Whereas this one, it's more of like a light fantasy. It's kind of like, okay, so basically, it's about this girl and her family, and they're living, it seems like in like the 1400s or whatever. They're in their little shack, no like electricity, plumbing, whatever, but there's some like magical stuff happening, and there's these things called the bone houses. They're like these zombie-esque things that walk around, and like you're supposed to like dispose of them when you see them, and then throw them into the woods, because there's this like area of woods that is where the bone houses come from. And then certain stuff goes down, and she ends up going deeper into the woods. And that's all I will say. And I absolutely ate this shit up. I'll probably read this again this year, because I think I read this shit in like a day, because I just was fucking eating it up, and it was so good. So yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend. And yeah. Number 3 is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. I think that's how you say his name. It's like Ian. I think Ian, whatever. And I think everyone and their moms knows what this book's about. It's like a literary fiction, like crazy, not making sense book. And once again, I ate it up. I know, I'm sorry, I'm basically another person that absolutely loved this book. And I love the, like, you've read this book, or you know about this book, and if you know about this book and haven't read it, I highly suggest reading it. Don't be one of those people that just watch this movie. You have to read the book to appreciate the movie. The movie is nothing without this book, and I will stand by that, because I read the book, then watched the movie with my mom, and my mom was like, what the fuck's going on? And I was like, yeah. But it's just, I don't even know how to, okay. So basically it's a couple, they're going to visit his parents, and the girl is like, I'm thinking of ending this relationship. And then a bunch of weird ass shit happens, and that's it. Read it, it's so good. Number 2 is Punching the Air by these icons that I cannot say their names. I don't want to be disrespectful. And this book is actually written by, I can't say his name, Dr. Yusuf Salam, I think. So I can say his name. Dr. Yusuf Salam, who was just 15 years old. That's like in his author thing. But basically he was a part of the Central Park jogger case, where the Central Park 5, those 5 young black men who were convicted of assaulting a woman when they did not do it. And they were sent to prison for many years, even though they did not do it. And yeah. And this book is basically about this kid this young black man who was sent to prison, jail, or like juvie maybe, I don't 100% remember, and his journey from, like you go from, like, you kind of jump in perspectives and time and stuff, but about his journey of getting convicted, going to jail, growing up, all of that, and it's all told in, like, poems and stuff, which I am a poem hater. I hate poems. Like, for me, like, when I'm reading, I don't need the language to be pretty. I don't need any of that. I just need the story to be good. And the reason why I think I like this so much is because even though all this is told in poems, it is all one. It's basically one big connecting poem. It's all in one story, and it's just at different, like, points or different whatever that he wants to convey is what that poem's about. And it wasn't overly too metaphorical to where you have to, like, think and analyze and blah blah blah. Like, I fucking hated that shit in language arts when we had to do that shit. Like, try to analyze the fucking poem. Like, that shit was so annoying, and it wasn't too overly complicated, and it was a very beautifully written, and a beautiful, heartbreaking story, and I highly recommend it to everyone. And not enough people are fucking talking about this. I had no idea about this book until my parents and I went camping, and this was in a little library, and I was like, what is this? And then I pulled it out, I looked at the cover, and then I was like, oh my god, I need to read this. And so I swapped out a book for this, and ate it up. It's so amazing. So amazing. And my number 1 is Surrender Your Sons by Adam Sass. And this, like, as soon as I read it, I actually read this book on the beach in like a day, and it's so good. It's basically about, I'm big in horror Community, which I've said many times in this video, and I watch My Bloody Judy, and I forget, it was both, they had Adam Sass on recently for his new book, Your Lonely Nights Are Over, which is actually on my worst list. I was very disappointed. Spoiler, I won't tell you what place. I was very disappointed in that book. But and then they were talking about how their friend Adam Sass released Surrender Your Sons and how amazing of a horror book it was. And I was like, okay, I'll look it up. And so I bought it, and it's so good. It's basically about this kid who gets found out for being gay, and so his mom sends him to a conversion therapy camp, and about his relationship with the other campers, what the other campers are going through, and the corruption at the camp, and the secrets that camp holds. And it was so good. It was obviously very sad, and the ending, I can see a lot of people not liking it. I absolutely adored the ending. I don't think it could end another way. And it was 5 out of 5. It was fucking amazing. It was so thrilling. All the scenes and the mystery was compelling. And I just need to know what happened. And I absolutely loved the kid. The main kid. What was his name again? Connor. Yeah, Connor. He was just such a relatable, especially if you grew up queer, a relatable character. And yeah, absolutely adored this book. 5 out of 5. All of these books were 5 out of 5, except for the honorable mentions. Those were only 4, which is why they didn't make it. And yeah, I absolutely adored this book. If you're into thrillers and you like queer books, I think it's a must-read. Okay, that's it. My next video will probably be my top 10 worst books of 2023, which there's only like 2 books that I read this year that I think were genuinely horrible and that were 2 stars. The rest are 3 stars and are more just books that I was underwhelmed or disappointed in. But you'll see that in that video. So bye. And also, don't you love this sweater? I love this sweater. It's my favorite sweater. I'm actually just wearing pajamas, but I put on the sweater to like make myself not look so ratty. Okay, bye.